What's up, HyperFast Nation? On this episode of the show, I brought on an amazing agent who sold, get this, 89 homes in his first year in the business. Then went on to build a massive brokerage, which he sold, and now is helping agents all over the country. Welcome to the show, Duane Richeis.
You're doing great. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining. I know it's a little earlier where you are out in Utah, so appreciate you working with us here on East Coast time. And I'm excited for you to share your story because you sold more homes in your first year in real estate than most people sell like in their first 5 years, probably, or 10 years even for some. So tell us a little bit about like how you got into real estate and how you got off to such a good start. Like it was 89 homes, I think, your first year.
89 homes my first year. Yep, and I did that part-time. So it's been a fun journey. So a little bit of background behind me. I went and got a medical degree and started with getting pulmonary arteries, getting rid of AFibs. We initiated a process to burn pulmonary arteries through RF ablation. And ended up doing a lot of that stuff in the background. I had friends that were selling alarm systems door to door. And they're like, Dwayne, just give us a year. Come try this. There's so much money in this. And I was making a great 6-figure salary. I was in Palo Alto working at a children's hospital in California and making great money. They paid for all my housing, my food, and a great stipend. And my buddies just kept pounding me like, dude, try this, try this. And so I went out for one summer, quit. And I made more money in 4 months selling alarm systems door to door than I had ever made with a medical career. And I'm just like, man, this is sweet.
Wow.
And so I ended up I was rookie of the year that first year selling alarms and ended up top 10 for a big alarm company. A lot of you guys have heard of Vivint. That's who I sold for. But I was top 10 for the 5-6 years I was there. I started buying a lot of real estate with the money I was making. I was up making over 500 grand a year. And it was sick. I loved it. And but I got a niche for real estate. I'm like, man, I have not met very many good agents. In all the real estate I bought, a lot of them suck. They're not very good at follow-up. They're not very good at customer service. They're not very good at a lot of things, right? And so I'm like, I've never heard of a real estate agent that does door to door. And that was kind of my niche. Is I'd love to try this and see if it would work. And so I got my real estate license. I'm like, I'm going to do alarms part-time because I make a lot of money doing this. And I'm going to try real estate part-time and just kind of dabble in both. So I went out my first month. I sold 10 homes my first month. And Dan, I had no clue what I was doing. I did not know how to do paperwork. I did not know how to do anything. I was making so many messes that it was ridiculous.
Were they list sides or buy sides?
Both. I listed buys and I double-sided one. In fact, I listed one townhome. I found the buyer for it, and I took that buyer, and they bought another one of my lists, and it was just, man, domino effect. But I was drowning. But that's going door to door. You're looking for the list, but you also get it through the buy. So whenever I knock on a door, I'm trying to get them to buy first, and then I list their house. But I'm looking for listings. That makes sense.
Right.
So month 2, I took completely off, did not go out at all, and just handled paperwork, went and sold alarms. And month 3, I sold 14 homes. And then I took month 4 off again. Just I don't know what to do here. And so I just dabbled with this back and forth as I learned how to figure this out until I got a transaction coordinator and ended up cranking out 89 homes. But I did it part-time as I still sold alarms and made great money there. So it was a fun journey, dude. I loved real estate. Great transition.
Wow. How did you learn to, obviously you knew how to door knock, you knew how to get over that fear of it from selling alarms, but then how did you figure out how to pivot and do that for real estate? Like what was your script or approach?
Dude, that's a great question because obviously I didn't have anybody to teach me. I was winging it. So I'm just knocking on the door going, oh my gosh, I laughed myself off quite a few doors going, that's not a good approach. I did a lot of recording and I coach right now. I tell all my coaching clients, the people on my teams, record yourself, walk off the door, listen to it. Listen where you fumble, listen to where you make mistakes, listen to where you're losing them, listen to how many questions you ask. And that's literally what I did until I built a formulated pitch down that is 100% question based, but getting them to engage and desire to want to know more or to guide them through a process where they feel like they're making the decision. But it was a process I had to learn, and I got laughed, off the door a lot. But I was putting in probably 14, 15 hours a day that first, month, trying to figure it out and learn the steps. And so don't think that anything that's worth it is ever going to be easy. It's a lot of hard work. I was doing probably 300 to 400 contacts, talking to 300 to 400 people a month, or a week, a week. So, that's really where you're going to have to be in order to get this down quick.
So were you hitting like 70, 80 doors a day almost, or
Yeah.
in that range?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got it. Yep. So I was knocking doors for about 6 to 7 hours a day.
Wow. What
Yeah.
was the script? I wanna
Hey, my name is Dwayne. I work for
yeah.
EXP. Did your neighbors tell you I was going to stop by and see you? I mean, that was the main pitch.
That
They
was
would
it.
always say no.
No, yeah,
And
definitely
there's just like, have you ever considered buying, selling, or investing in real estate? And I always look for a no. I want the no. And when they would
right.
say no, it's like, cool, is this your forever home? And the majority of the people would say no because I'm knocking in areas where it's very transitional. I knock in
Right.
condos and townhomes where there's a lot of transition. And that's been my philosophy is don't get into multi-million dollar homes. Don't get into high-end homes because that's a forever home. They're not moving. There's no turnover. Go
Yeah.
sell
Or
that
they're
$400,000
not moving
condo.
they're not moving as much. It's like 10 years, right?
Yep.
As opposed to 5 or 3 or
Yeah, so if you can get a condo or a townhome that the price point's $300,000 to $400,000, sell that sucker. They buy 600,000 to 800,000, and you're now sitting over $1 million or right at $1 million per person you talk to. And that's the cool thing about knocking doors. You're double siding everything.
yeah.
You're getting the buy and sell, and so every client's worth $1 million to you. You just got to go out and find 30 of them, and you're making a good living.
How long did you keep that door knocking schedule or pace up? Like, did you eventually move to more calling based or other methods, or once you built up your sphere and repeat and referral, or were you always door knocking?
Yeah, and this is where you're laugh at me. I didn't even have a CRM for 5 years.
Yeah.
Didn't do
Okay.
any follow up whatsoever. And so if you weren't ready to transact with me when I met you at the doorstep, within a month, I kicked you to the curb and I was gone. Right. So I was able to build up a huge repeat and referral business after 2 years of door knocking because of the sheer number of people I was getting in front of and closing.
Yeah.
And I've not door knocked in 6 years now. I've not done any prospecting in 6 years now. And I average about 30 million a year in real estate sales
Well,
just off repeat.
that's a really good lesson on, like, I don't care what business you're in, like you can be in alarm sales, medical device sales, real estate sales, agent attraction, business, right? But having a big front door, that solves a lot of issues, right? And by big front door, I mean just top of funnel lead gen, which that it sounds like you made that like the number one priority for many many years, until it no longer needed to be a priority.
Well, and I think that's the big issue that most agents have right now is we get so scarcity mindset. You get one client and man, you drive that home until you get that client closed. And you're
Yeah.
doing paperwork and you're dabbling with social media and you're doing all these other things when in reality, as real estate agents, the biggest thing we can do is get in front of more people, sell more people, close more people, pass them off. I don't write offers. I don't do addenda. I don't do anything other than get in front of people and close them. And after doing that for 2 years, that's all it took. I could completely walk away from prospecting. And then now all I have to do is just close referrals and repeat clients and pass them off.
Yeah, no, it's such a good lesson. And there's, you've the way you did it cost nothing. A lot of people start off with Red X, which
Right.
is a couple $100 at most, or
Yep.
Mojo or Vulcan. But what does door knocking just cost you? Some shoe leather and maybe a little gas money.
You got it. And the cool thing is, Dan, when you're on a dialer, and tons of people found success with this, I will never knock that because they find success with this. But when you're on a dialer and you're on a phone call, you're setting an appointment. it's hard to close.
Right.
Over a phone. You've never met them. You're like, hey, let me set an appointment. Let me come by and see you. Whereas when I'm on the door, I'm face to face already. I'm at the appointment and I can literally close. I had a lady that I knocked on her door within 2 hours. I had her under contract on a buy and listed and sold her house.
That's just amazing. Yeah, so you can. I've never like thought of that, right? Because I do a lot of cold calling, and you're right. Like the purpose of that call is just to book another call or meeting or but you're in your house. You can you can do the listing tour right away, right? So I'm
Yeah.
guessing you came prepared with your listing packets and everything, and
Yeah, you got it. I mean, we're
yeah.
ready to close right then. So if they're there, I can do everything I'd need to do for a listing presentation, for a buyer consultation. I mean, I'm at your house. So if I can spark your interest and I can get you to believe that now is one of the best times in the world for you to transact in real estate, I can close you right then. And that's what I do, Dan. It's if I can't close you right then, you're not worth my time to come back. And so I'm closing everybody. And usually it's not, hey, let me list your house today. It's, I got you bought in on, yes, I want to buy and sell.
Hmm.
When can I get you into homes? I want you to send me 3 homes tonight. I've got 5 showing assistants. I can get you into any house within the next hour of you wanting to see it. Are you able to see some of these homes tonight or tomorrow? And I'm literally getting them to go out and look at houses. Once we get them looking at houses online, it's game over. Because they start looking, they get excited about the new transaction. I realize that now is the best time to do it and they can afford to do it because I've already overcome all those objections. It's the easiest close in the world.
Yeah. Well, let's fast forward. Um, you built up that business. You went on to start your own brokerage, right?
Yes. Uh
Um,
huh.
yeah. So tell us about like that journey from you know you're out there door knocking, selling homes yourself, and then now all of a sudden you build up a brokerage, and I think what you had like 100 agents at one point before you sold it.
Yeah, yeah. So I was with a big box store. Won't mention names, but I
Yeah.
was with your big stores, and I could not grow because on a team I took 50%, and this company still took their royalties and they took all their
Hmm.
other fees, and so they were taking 21%. So my agents were making 29% after the splits, and I had people wanting to join my team as a brand new agent at 1 month in because they saw me sell 10 homes. They're like, this is unheard of. I want to learn from this guy. And so here I am building these teams. I was the number 1 recruiter for 3 years in a row. And it wasn't because I was trying. It was just, attraction was coming saying, hey, will you teach me how to do this?
Right.
And after 4 years of just beating my head against the ground, training my competition, I trained the rookie of the year for the last 6 years straight, right? Trained them how to go out and be number 1. Bottom line is I couldn't grow. So I'm like, I've got to leave and I've got to start my own brokerage. So we did that, started a lending company, title company, insurance company, and built this massive business. We had 100 people in there without recruiting within 2 years. And then I was like, I want to go outside of Utah. And so I went right back to the big box store and said, hey, I'm going to do an expansion team. And so I started flying to Atlanta. I flew to Atlanta every week, 3 days a week for a month to start recruiting, doing question-based selling seminars, trainings. And I recruited 40 people in a month. And the people that the box store was pissed. They're like, oh my gosh, we're getting nervous. This person's going to steal a bunch of our people and go start their own brokerage. And this is right. So they jacked the splits up for everybody on my team by $18,000 because they
Mm.
got nervous. So it turned into a $36,000 cap for anybody that joined my team, which cut the legs out from under me, right? No one's going
Right.
to pay $36,000. So came back to Utah and I'm like, this isn't going to work. I've got to sell my brokerage. So I did. I joined EXP, the very best move I've ever made because now I am able to take EXP and I can expand everywhere. We've added 55 agents without recruiting in the last 8 months and added 35 people onto the team. And so, yeah, it's been money.
So where's your team based out of right now? It's still
I've
still
got
Utah, right?
No, I've got agents
No.
everywhere. So I've got agents in
Okay.
Florida, Atlanta, Texas. We do it all virtual. We do trainings every week. I've got agents in all over Canada. Almost, I think we're in like 20 states. So we got agents everywhere.
What is the like let's just pick Florida for example. Like you're Utah, you have agents in Florida. why do agents in Florida, want to join you? Like, how are you helping them?
So, I mean, I'm flying out to Florida this Friday, and I'm doing
Okay.
a big seminar for them. I'm helping them build and recruit teams. So, my big thing, Dan, is I want to get every agent to 15 million in production because I don't feel like you should learn from anybody or get trained by anybody that's not doing at least 15 million in production. If you're not making a half a
Right.
million dollars a year, why in the world do you have the right to teach? Right? And there's so many real estate companies out there where they're brokers and they're team leaders. They don't sell 10 homes a year and they're teaching and training on real estate. It's like, come on, guys. So my main
Yeah.
goal is let's get you to 15 million. And then I will fly wherever you live and come and do seminars and train and teach and bring in people and recruit them and put them underneath you. And let's build a massive team for you elsewhere. But it doesn't matter where you live. If you can learn to do door to door, you're going to crush it. In those Florida markets and those places where it doesn't get cold. I mean, Utah, we get into the single digits in the winter. It's hard to knock doors in that. But we do virtual trainings every week. We do role plays twice a day. And we just definitely dive in and help people become successful in their own environment. We even had an agent in Singapore that was in my coaching program. I've never been to Singapore. It's a completely different market. And we helped them get to where they were taking 6 listings a week, which is
Wow.
insane. It was a blast to help people grow.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on, you know, proving yourself before you go out and build and teach. And so I think in most markets, 15 million is a pretty solid number to get it. You are right. There's been a rise in people that are, hardly selling, maybe never even sold, that are now, building teams and groups and recruiting, and like, it is kind of weird. It's like, well, you've never done it. How are you going to help them do it?
Absolutely. No, for sure.
And I totally agree. Also, on the Florida, like, we've got a big group of agents down in Florida, and they've blown up in South Florida. A lot of it is from door knocking and open houses and door knocking around the open houses. Like, it's a great market for door knocking. This time of year, probably a little painful with the heat, but you can always
Hot,
do it.
humid.
It's not like the cold.
Right. Right. I remember being in Dallas and knocking in 115-degree weather when they had heat advisories for, I think it was 10 days straight. It was 115 degrees plus humidity. It was like, oh, we carried around gallon jugs of water, but we went out and pounded for 8 to 10 hours a day. It was awesome.
What do you envision, like, the next few years doing in this new model? Like, you're out of the franchise brick and mortar, EXP, cloud based revenue share model expansion. Like, what are your goals?
Man, our goals is we'll have 1,000 agents underneath us within the next 3 years. I think that'll happen very quickly. My YouTube channel, if you haven't checked that out yet, go to Duane Richeis, Door to Door Realtor. We've put on 20,000 plus subscribers in the last 6 months. I
Oh,
think
wow.
people are going to need to add a different revenue source because cold calling is getting very hard. A lot of
Yeah,
people are having to do a lot more calls, and the no soliciting and the pickup rate is just horrid at this point, from what I'm hearing.
it is. We've seen that too. It's gotten a lot tougher. A lot more dials to get answers. So
Well, and I think the neat thing about door to door, and I think this is going to become a lot bigger because you get face to face with your clients. You've got that live appointment, like I said, right then. With commissions changing, if you're getting in front of people that aren't out shopping before you get in front of them, it's a lot
mm,
easier to keep all your commissions. That's going to be huge. And the main thing is you can show up and show professionalism and confidence and attach to people before they even realize they're ready to do real estate. And it allows you to win every time. Like, I'm taking 6% listings every time. I'm doing a 2.5% buyer agent commission. I'm making 3.5% on every listing. And it's candy. I mean, it is
right.
not.
What what days and time of day do you think are the best for door knocking? Just
You
curious.
know, it's a good question. You can door knock starting at 9 a.m. all the way through. 9 a.m. you're going to catch, moms when kids are at school, more laid back and they have time to talk. You're
Yeah.
not going to catch spouses home usually. whether it's husband or wife, whoever works. You're not going to catch both parties home at that point. So it's not the ideal time, but you will catch shift workers at that point. So when we knock doors, best when I first started and I sold those 10 that first month, I was on doors by noon and I was going till 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And in the summer, we'll go till 10 o'clock at night because what you do is you schedule all your appointments for in the evening after kids are in bed. So it's same day appointments. Husband's not home yet. Hey, I'm going to be in the neighborhood. I'll stop back by later this afternoon. Leave your front porch light on. It's going to be somewhere between 8:30 to 10 o'clock. And we'd go set those appointments and go in and sit down with them really late at night. But yeah, your best times, if I was to say, if you're only going to knock 3 to 4 hours a day, and that's even pushing it for most real estate agents because they don't like to prospect,
Right.
I would say to do it from 4 to 8.
4 to 8, and then try to book the appointments from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Yep, or close the appointment right in front of them. Yeah, while you're
Yeah.
there. We call them
Yeah.
one leggers. If you don't find both spouses home, if you've only got one leg there, schedule and come back a little bit later and prep that appointment with the person you're talking to so they don't spill the beans on what you're doing and why you're there. But yes, if you can close them right where you're there, get it closed and move on to the next door.
Yeah, this is like blowing my mind. So we've done door knocking, but not to this level. Like we're usually door knocking around an open house. But this, yeah, I
Dad, you
love
want
the
to hear something
scripts.
crazy? You talk about door knocking around an open house, and my assumption is you're going to knock around a couple blocks from that open house, and you're going to go sit in the open house and wait for it.
Yeah.
Listen to what we do. So for open houses, we put a sign on the door and say, if you're with your agent, if you have an agent, call your agent to let you in. If you do not have an agent, I am in the neighborhood. Give me a call and I'll run over and let you into the house. But we schedule a 4 hour window for an open house. The whole time we're knocking doors because we're in the neighborhood anyway, saying, hey, we've got an open house going on right now over on
Right.
Cheshire Street. And if you want to see it, we can walk you down there right now and get you in. But we're knocking for 4 hours, 5 hours during the open house, not knocking it, for 20 minutes around the open house and going. We're knocking for a full 4 to 5 hours while the open house is happening, which is it's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this has been amazing. Just learning this. You mentioned your YouTube channel. What are obviously there's that. What are some other ways that you put content out or help coach agents?
So I've got my website, reald2d.com. There's some modules and stuff you can purchase there. We do coach. We do
Yeah.
one-on-one coaching. We do the role play groups are awesome. So even if you don't want to be in coaching, but you want to learn how to role play and get the door-to-door scripts down, you can jump into our role play groups. Like I said, we're doing those twice a day, 5 days a week, and they're awesome. But there is content you can go get. We're building a course right now. We'll also have a book released this year. And here's another crazy thing, Dan, that we're doing. I'm developing a door-to-door knocking app that you can send handwritten letters right from the app. It also tracks all the doors you've knocked. It's a CRM built into it, but it's
Mm.
built for door-to-door. So that's going to be another huge thing to be able to capitalize on the whole door-to-door real estate realm.
Wow. And what is the name of the YouTube channel?
It's Duane Richeis, door-to-door realtor. I've got probably 400 videos that I've put on there. And once again, I am zero tech, man. I am the worst with tech. I'm a door
Yeah.
knocker for Pete's sakes. But we've got a lot of good stuff on there. I have a lot of people that are closing deals just off my YouTube channel. So it's been a lot of fun to see people find success just from all the content I'm throwing out there.
Wow. Well, this has been amazing. I always like to wrap up with a hyper fast round if you're ready for a couple rapid fire questions,
Absolutely.
and then I'll let you give your info out, one more time, just so everyone can connect with you. But
Sure.
first question: what's your biggest piece of advice for a new real estate agent?
Don't expect deals just to fall in your lap. Expect for you to have to come in and work your freaking guts out like you don't know a person on the planet and plan on doing 250 plus contacts a week.
What's the biggest mistake you see experienced agents making?
Oh my gosh, this is huge because most of them waste 90% of their day. They waste it in social media, marketing, paperwork, showings. The majority of real estate agents are not focused on prospecting. And if you're not in a repeat and referral client-based business, you're missing the whole boat. Right now, it takes me about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes to run a $30 million a year real estate business. That's it. That's all it should take you. So if you're not leveraging assistance, you're really missing the boat. So experienced agents out there, quit doing anything that you wouldn't pay yourself $20 an hour to do. Hire somebody else to do it.
What's the biggest challenge you've had in real estate?
Biggest challenge in real estate, I think, is just getting people to see the vision of what they're capable of. Because for me, it was easy to go out and sell a bunch of homes. And mindset for me is so hard to help other people see what they can do. And it drives me nuts. It's just like, guys, if you would just go do this, you will find success. I wouldn't say I'm the best salesperson in the world, but there's not many people that will outwork me. If you'll just work and do the things we tell you to do, you're going to crush it. So I think that's the hardest part for me in real estate is I look at how much talent is out there. And I think the culture of real estate is not be aggressive and go work. It's more of a social environment inside the brokerage. That's why I love EXP being virtual. You don't go in and drink your coffee and eat your donuts and hang out. It's get to work or sit on your computer, whatever you want to do at home. But bottom line is, I think that's my biggest hurdle that I'm trying to get over is learning to be patient with other real estate agents in the fact that I know they're capable of doing a lot more than what they can do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the old, you can lead them to water. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink,
100%. 100%. So we do a lot of follow-up. I do a lot of competitions. I do a lot of accountability stuff just because we want to hold people accountable. I tell people this all the time. A blind squirrel could find this nut. There's not a person on the planet that could not sell 3 homes a year. I mean, I think you could do that with your eyes, or 3 homes a month, excuse me. I think you could do that with your eyes closed. 36 transactions a year. With your eyes closed, you could do that.
Well, I did 37 my first year. And,
a kid?
I thought that was pretty good until I met you. But
that is good. But that's the point. Your first year, you should be doing 30 plus. There's no reason why you're not.
Yeah, and I had a good. I'm in a good price point market, so that was like 22 million or so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but a lot of kind of what you described, where they're you get a listing, they're selling this, going to buy that, and one deal turns into 3. So it's 36 deals can really end up really being like 15 to 20 people, right?
You got it. No, and that's exactly what it should be.
Yeah. All right, last question. I probably know the answer to this one already, but this is one of my favorite ones to always ask. If you had to go to a new market, you couldn't take your name, your reputation, couldn't take money with you, you had to start from scratch, right? And all you could take is the knowledge you've learned. What would you do?
Door knock, my man. I think door knocking is recession proof. I think it's market proof. I think it's all of those things. I don't really care what market I'm in. I know I could plop in and I could go sell 10 houses a month. There's no doubt in my mind, just the pure knowledge that you gain from door to door, the sales skills you learn from cold base selling face to face, the way you learn to listen to people and how to interact with them and how to guide them through a process. There's never been a better sales process. So that's what's beautiful about door to door. And this question, I love that you asked that because I feel like I can pop into any market anywhere. I don't need to take money with me or a name. It doesn't matter if I'm with EXP or Keller Williams or Caldwell Banker. The name does not matter. What matters is how you portray yourself to the client and that they feel that you have their best interest in hand. And you'll crush it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. If people out there want to connect with you, I know you mentioned a few different things already, but what are the best ways? Just one more reminder.
I mean, you guys could call me, 801-243-4544. I'll give you my phone number. I'm always open. Like I said, my business does not take a lot of time for me to do, so I have time. Happy to answer questions. You can jump on my website, and that's just Real D as in door, number 2, D as in door.com, reald2d.com. And then Door to Door Realtor. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and also YouTube. So Duane Richeis, Door to Door Realtor. You can find me anywhere. But yeah, I'd love to help you guys overcome some of the hurdles. If you have questions, I'm happy to field some of those questions for you and help you get to that next level.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. Highly, highly valuable content. So, if you guys are listening to this, go connect with Dwayne. Look at the YouTube channel and the different things he's got going on. Because I think anyone could drop into any market and do a lot more deals just from what we learned today. So, thank you, Dwayne.
Hey, thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
All right, and to all of our listeners and viewers, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time.